I think that people who aren't perfectionists think that perfectionists are super organized and they always have everything planned out. And this might be the case for some perfectionists, but I am actually not that way. Today we're talking about creating a weekly system that works for you, especially if you are an anxious perfectionist like myself. So we're going to talk about the barriers first of what's keeping us from creating a system that's actually working for us. And then we're going to talk about the 3 tools that I recommend you having in your planning system. Usually we talk about things like mindset and emotions on the channel, but I think today talking about planning still absolutely ties into those things. A lot of emotions come up around stuff we have to do, things we're doing, our time, our schedules, our relationship with productivity. Getting a system that makes sense for you, that you're able to sustain, can take a huge load off and make you feel a lot less anxious. My first problem with planning is I want to do everything that needs to be done in one day or in 1 week. And I think that I can actually do it. I want to, and I actually think it's possible to. All I have to do is work well and work quickly through the tasks, and somehow everything that I need to do will be done in one day, and then the rest of the days of the week, I'll have free time and I'll feel a lot better. That's never the case when it comes to a day or a week. But the next day or the next week, I come back thinking the exact same idea. My next trouble is having too rigid of a schedule. And so sometimes when I feel like, oh, things are unorganized, I don't know if I have time to do this stuff, we can go into the mode of, okay, let's plan out every hour so we can make sure that we get this stuff done. But when that happens and you have every hour planned out for the week, and there's like this thing called life that's occurring around you, that thing called life is gonna have influence on various parts of the schedule you have. So if it's so inflexible that it then causes you distress because you can't move things around, you don't have a way to move things around, like you haven't thought about that, that is when a plan or a schedule is too inflexible or too rigid. Basically, sometimes I'll have no plan for the day and I'll just be like, okay, I'm gonna do everything on my to-do list. And then I'll swing really hard the other way and be like, okay, I'm gonna schedule everything to the minute. And really somewhere in between, I think, is more where it's at. Another trouble I have when it comes to planning is at the end of a day or a week or a working session, I always feel really, really rushed, and I never make time to plan the next day or week. And this bites me in the butt, especially on weekends, when I then spend the weekend worrying because I don't have a plan for the next week. And I'm just thinking of all the things that have to be done. My next problem with planning is I am known to create a false sense of urgency for myself. Again, just because you think you can do something in X amount of time doesn't mean you need to or should be doing that thing in that amount of time if it's not actually urgent. I think with the false sense of urgency, we're leaning into our emotions a lot and we're being like, oh yeah, I can do this. And we feel a little bit motivated, but we're not in the logic brain side of things where we're like, okay, but where does that fit in with everything else? I'm really putting this one in there for other people, but buying a planner and not using it or stopping using it. If you don't already have a system that involves a dated planner, don't start now. If anything, you can get an undated planner, so you can pick it up at any time, any year. You can skip as many weeks as you want, or you can just have what's called a notebook. And that's actually what's been working the best for me. Next, I can feel not great when I'm looking at my list at the end of a day or week and I'm like, yeah, like this stuff did not get done. And I'm just like, it's like I'm the problem, right? It's not other stuff that came up. It's not the skill of me being a thoughtful planner or not. It's me personally as a person. I'm just like not able to get stuff done. That's kind of what happens. And finally, rabbit holes. So for me, everything needs to be perfect. So just an example, I need to send someone a document. I go look at the document, just looking it over, and I see this should really be updated. This needs to be redesigned. I look at the file name. I said, that's not the correct file name convention. That doesn't even make sense. And then I see other ones in the folder that also aren't the same. So I start correcting all of those. And then I start making a guideline sheet for how to file name. That is called going down the rabbit hole. That is very easy to do when a period of time in your day is not allotted to a certain task, or you don't have that task right in front of you. So it becomes a free-for-all. We don't want that. We've made it to the tools system of the video, and these are actually 3 tools that will come together and be a little family in your planning system. The first is a calendar. the second is a task manager, and the third is a planner. And there's like one bonus one, but we'll get to that. Calendar. Calendar is a digital place where I put places I need to be or things that have to be done or people to be met at certain times. It's very time-based. To add on to that, using a calendar for time blocking helps so much with one of those first barriers we were talking about, which is I want to do everything I can and get everything done for my list today. Time blocking is going to help you do that. What I'm talking about with time blocking is planning which hours of the days throughout the week you will be doing certain things, or just certain days. You could have time block 1, 2, 3, and then for Monday, and then you have 3 things for Monday, and you can choose which one goes where. But time blocking is going to help you see that you do not have unlimited time. When I actually start thinking about that and laying it out, I can see, oh, I'm likely going to get to these 2 things this afternoon, or I'm likely going to get to this thing this afternoon. The others have to go somewhere else. So that's my calendar. Next is a task manager. And a task manager is something that you put in everything that you think you need to do or should do or want to do in one place. I have a digital task manager. It works the best for me. And anytime I think of something or something directly gets assigned to me, it goes in the task manager. It's just gonna encapsulate everything in one place. And then third, we get to move to the planner. I set up my planner by weeks. And when I say planner, I'm really talking about my notebook. So I set up my notebook in a weekly spread, and I use my calendar to first plug in any of those things that are important and have to be at a certain time or day. Then I'll go to my task manager and say, okay, what are the top priorities for the week? I don't just go through and assign willy-nilly tasks on every which day. I'm really being intentional about how much time these would take and what is the absolute most important. I have to get better at that. Or otherwise, I'm going to be changing file names. Having this method of the planner where you can see the absolute needs for each day is very helpful when it comes to saying no. And it's very helpful when it comes to assessing your capacity. So if you missed my last video, it's all about saying no. Having a planner that works for you and knowing what your week is going to look like is going to help you say no, because then you can easily see, actually, I have this and this, I'm not able to help with that. Those are my 3 things, so calendar, task manager, and planner. But the 4th thing, which I think really helps with the rabbit hole and it stops that whole rabbit hole business, is having a sticky notepad in front of you and writing down what the task is that you are doing. If you sense a rabbit hole coming on, you're getting snacky for other tasks, you return back to that Post-it note of the bare minimum and the essence of whatever the task you're currently working on. If you come up with other things that you think need to be done, you probably will do this often. Task manager. They go in the task manager. But right now you're on the sticky note. This is also a really helpful tactic when it comes to taking breaks. If you're not good at taking breaks because you fear you're not going to be able to get your focus back if you leave and come back, try putting a Post-it note with whatever you were working on right there. So when you come back, you said, oh yeah, get right back to it. Jump right in. That is the end of this video. I hope you can use a tip or tool to help you decrease perfectionism or decrease the worrying that you have on a daily basis. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy Rachel in Theory's YouTube channel, so I'll link that down below. I've been watching her a lot. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.